Hi there everybody, in this video I'm going to show you how to make crochet this top. It's not hard, but you do need to know the basics about crocheting. The hardest part would be to join your motifs together, but besides that the motifs are very simple to do. In the video I showed you how to make it actually one of these shorter, and for me it was just a bit too short, so I did add on an extra one. So it's going to depend on you as to whether you're going to want to add on an extra one or not. I do explain it to you in the video. I did put a border on the bottom, the same as I did on the neck, not on the sleeve. So you'll see that in the video as well. Yeah, I think that's about it. I've shown you two sizes. Now, I've not tried the real small one. It looks like it would be very small, because you've got to have an uneven number. So I used 5. And then the small would have been 1, 2, 3. So your small will be that small, just with these 3 motifs. So if you're really tiny, it will work. But I couldn't make it an in-between size, because you've got to use an uneven number. So it's either 3, 5, and you can make a bigger one with 7 of these. But I do explain that in the video. But yeah, so basically this is what it looks like. And I'm very pleased with it. I love it. It's very comfortable. So yeah, I hope you come right, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. And yeah, so let's get started. Alright, so in this video, this is the yarn that I'm using. It's the Red Heart Shimmer, and it says to use a size 5.5 millimeter hook, but I'm actually using a 3.75. Now, this is going to be up to you as to which size hook you're using. The reason I'm using this size is because I want my motif to be, I want it to be a little firmer, not too loose. And if I went with a 5.5, this would just be looser. Now, you have your advantages to using it looser, because you're going to get a slightly bigger motif. So if your motif is needing to be a little bit bigger than mine, because you need maybe a slightly bigger top than mine, then go ahead and use a bigger hook. Yeah, that's the size I'm using, is a 3.75, just because I want mine to be tighter. I don't want it to be too flimsy. And I'm using this yarn, the Red Heart Shimmer, in the pink. I'm using it in the black, but I had to make a big ball out of it because the yarn went all squirrely on me. And the same with the white. I'm using it in the white. Let's continue and let's get on with making this. So to do this top, this is basically what your schematic is going to look like. This is the large and this is the small. Now, as I say, I haven't made the small, so I don't know what it's actually going to look like. You know, I just know that it'll work. You can go with, this is the small, that's a bigger one, and you can go one bigger than this, but you have to have this look, you have to have an odd number. So this has got 3 rows. This has got 5 rows. So your next set would, if you wanted to make it bigger than this, you'd have to have 7 rows, and you'd use the same formula as we're using here, but you would just make an extra row here, maybe make it shorter, or however you want to do it. You'd have to put another row here and another row here. Now on mine, this specific one, I had to make 72 motifs, if you count them all. This one is shade and that one is shade. You'll see this is where you're turning it over. But yeah, I show you how to do it in the video, so that's not an issue. But I found that this one is too short, so now I've made mine, but I'm going to come back and I'm actually going to I want to make mine a bit, my sleeves longer, so I'm going to add more. So I'm going to do another 8 motifs here, another 4 motifs, then another 4 there, so that's 8. Plus I'm making mine longer, so I'm going to be putting another motif in between each one over there, one here, one on each of these. So if you want to make yours bigger from word go, you can, longer. It's not super short, but for me it was a bit short. I just wanted mine a little bit longer. As I say, I don't know with the small, but this is just how the schematic would look if you're doing it in a small. And the small used 48 motifs, if you count them. So I just wanted to show you what the schematic looks like, so you can see. It's easier once you've seen this picture, the drawing. And you're just attaching the first row, you just attach 4 here. What you need to remember with this is you would be attaching 4 loops. You've got 16 loops going around. It would be 4 onto each one of these. down the bottom. Then that row is easy. Then when you do your next, you're coming in between. So this first one, you'd only be able to use the 2 motifs, the 2 chains off here, and then you'll be using these 2 here, these 2, and these 4. So I do show you in the video. So once again, you'd use these 2 from that side, 2 from there, and 4 from here. So you just got to play with it. As I say, I'll show you how to do it. Basically you're joining with 3 motifs, and I go through that with you, but just so you have a basic idea of what it looks like and what you're going to be doing. And this is the whole one. This is the half that you're turning it around, and it will be half there. So yeah, that's basically what we're doing. I will show you the rest, how to do everything else in the video, but this is your schematic and you can play with it as you like. So yeah, let's get started. Alright, so for this motif, what I did was I did a whole bunch of these motifs with the white around, and I just pulled this like this and held it over there. So I've made a bunch. You might want to consider doing that and then crocheting them onto each other afterwards. It's entirely up to you as to how you want to do it. You can do it one at a time and then join them together, or do a whole bunch. I'm actually doing this, and I'm going to sew in some of these as I go, these threads. It's nicer because when you get to the end, you just want to get your garment together, and then you've still got to sew things in. So I'm doing that as I go along. So it's up to you how you want to do it, but I'm going to show you how to do this motif. Now, to start with a motif, you want to do a magic circle. Now, and you're going to do 16 double crochets in this magic circle. Alright, so we've gone all the way around, and I've got my 16 double crochets, and now I'm going to do a slip stitch into this very first space here. Okay, you're just going to do a slip stitch, and then we're going to chain 5, because this round we're doing a double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, chain 2. That's what we're doing all the way around. So for my first one, there's my double crochet, and then I need 2 chain to stand for in between. Now I'm going to go with my next double crochet into the same space. So do a double crochet into the same space that you had gone into, and then chain 2. Okay, and then you're going to do a double crochet in your next space. So you just got to keep finding your next spaces, and then chain 2, and then double crochet again. See, so in between each of these double crochets is where you're going. And chain 2, and then another double crochet in the next space. See, there's in between the 2 double crochets. It's kind of hard to see because they're a little tight next to each other, but just go in between them. And you're going to do this all the way around until you have 16 double crochets, and then you're going to do a slip stitch onto the 3rd chain over here. So go around, 1 in each of the double crochets with a double crochet, chain 2 separating them, and I'll meet you back here. Alright, so I've gone all the way around, and I have 16 double crochets. So just make sure you have 16 double crochets, and I'm going to slip stitch into the 3rd chain that I had originally made, which will leave me with 2 chain for in between. And now we have our first step, and yes, you're going to have to just keep pulling this little tag at the back unless you go ahead and sew him in already, because he tends to want to open up. So anyway, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to slip stitch into this very first space. So I'm just going to do a slip stitch in there, and the reason I'm doing that is because I want to get into this space and do my next set of work in the middle of this, not above this double crochet. So that's why I slip stitch into there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to chain 4, and then we're going to do a treble in the same space, but you're not going to finish it, and then you're going to do another treble in the same space. You don't finish it. Now you have 3 left, and you're going to bring your yarn through all 3. So we're doing 3 trebles together, and then you're going to have 4 chain in between. So 1, 2, 3, 4 chain in between. Okay, so that's what you're going to do for this next step. So we're going into the next space with a treble, and don't finish it. That's 1. Another treble in the same space. Don't finish it. You're just going through 2 loops through 2. Yarn over into the same space, go through 2, and go through 2. Now I've got 4 left on here, and I'm going to go through all of these, and they have made another 3 trebles together, and then chain 4 in between. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'll show you again. So here's my next space that I'm doing them in. Treble into this space, but don't finish it. You go through 2, go through 2, twice over your hook into the same space, go through 2, go through 2, same thing in the same place, go through 2, go through 2, and then you've got 4 loops left, and you're going to go through all 3 of them, and there you have your 3 trebles together, and with 4 in between. So do that all the way around, and you should end up with 16 of these as well, and I'll meet you back at the end of this round. Alright, so I have gone all the way around, and I have 16 of these trebles together. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a slip stitch into the top of the treble, and that's going to round it off for me, and then I want to get into this space again, so I'm just going to bring my hook through. But now, because I want to change colors, I'm not going to go through this, I'm going to do it with my new color. So cut off your pink yarn, and then whichever new color you're using, you're going to come in with your new color and just finish that stitch off. Okay, so that's how we've brought our white in. Now what I want to do is I want to do 4 single crochets in here. So all the way across you're going to do 4 single crochets in each of these chain spaces. So you're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's all that we do for this round. It's a nice easy round. 4 single crochets in each one of these chain spaces, and nothing in there. You're just going right across to this space, and you do 4, and then you should once again have your round circle. So do that for all of these. Just do 4 single crochets in each of these chain spaces, and we're going to just slip stitch into this first one again, but I'll meet you back here. Alright, so I've come all the way around, and I'm going to just do a single crochet in this first stitch. Now once again, because I'm going to change colors, I'm not going to finish the white. I'm going to introduce my new color, which will be the black one, and I'm going to just hold it on that side, and then I'm going to just do my black right through these two, and now I'm good with my colors. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to do this part over here. Now for your very first one you have to go all the way around. You have to do a full row of black, but after that for all your other motifs you're not going to do a full one. So I'm going to show you how to do this full one, and then when we do the joining, that'll be where you have to do it in, I'll show you how. So anyway, so what we're going to do is it's going to be 6 chain. So you do 6 chain, and then you're going to go into this stitch over here, just above your treble. You'll just go in with a single crochet, and that's it. That's all that you're doing. So it's 6 chain, 1, 2, 5, 6 chain, and then you're going to do a single crochet in this space just above your treble, and that's it. You do that all the way around. So 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 chain, and a single crochet in this space over here just above the treble. So do that all the way around, and then I'll meet you back here. Right, so we've gone all the way around, and to finish this one off I'm simply going to go into this little spot over here. It doesn't really matter, you just want it to, if you pull all your threads, it's going to be right over here. So just do a slip stitch in there and bring your yarn through, and that's your very first, so that's your first motif that's complete. And as I say, for your other motifs you're not going to finish the whole round, but I will show you that as we do our joining. I'm going to try and explain this to you the best that I can. We can only do the 2 sizes, or you could do even a bigger one, which is going to be totally up to you. But going across, you're either going to use 5 motifs, or you're going to use 3. You have to have an even number, and the reason why is because we are going in between each of these motifs. You're going in between over here. You're not joining it next to this. So every motif goes in between 2. And this is where it causes a problem if you're going to try and go with an equal number, because you're not going to be able to get your neckline in. So saying that, I'm going to show you how to do it. It's not going to be hard. It's just that you either go to have rows, equal number of rows. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 3 rows, or you can go with 7. You can't do it with 1, obviously. So the sizes, you can't have an in-between size here. So this, I'm hoping this isn't too big for me. It might be slightly on the larger side, but that's one of the things I'm going to have to do. Otherwise, you have to get a smaller motif, and I wanted to do this motif. So anyway, I'm going to show you how to do it. But the thing that you need to remember is that you're joining all the motifs in between each other. Now there is a different way that we could have done it, and I nearly did it that way, where we join them next to each other and then you fill in this hole, or you leave it open. But I didn't want to do that, so I will do that in a different project. But for this one specifically, we are going in between all of these motifs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first show you how to join just one set. Your first row is going to be very easy. I'm joining them just straight onto each other like this. I'm not joining any sides. I just did a whole bunch of them like this. And for your and I'm going to show you how many to do. So let me show you how to join it, and then I'll explain a little bit more about how we join the rest of them. Alright, so here's your very first motif, and your very first motif has got nothing attached to it, so you can do one full round of your chain 6 single crochet. But the first set that we're doing, we're just going to make one long strip of them joined together, and I'm going to show you how to do that. But I just want to show you how to actually join those ones. That's your easy round. The next get a little bit more complicated because you're joining them onto each other. But so let's do this easy one first. So this is your very first one, and here's my motif that I'm going to join onto this one, and we're just going to make a straight stripe of motifs. So you do your chain 6. What you got to remember with all of these motifs is you're working in 4s, because I've got 16 going around. I'm working in 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're going to have 4 there, 4 there, 4 there, and 4 on this side that you're joining. So just keep that in mind, because that's actually very important. Now for your first one, it doesn't matter where you join it because it's your very first one. The others, it does matter. So what I'm going to do with this one is I'm just going to do 4 of these first. So chain 6 single crochet in here, chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It doesn't really matter where, it depends on where you want to start, and you'll see what I'm saying now. So I'm just going to do 4 of these. 4 and single crochet in there. Now I've got 4 of these loops. So remember, we're working in 4s. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we can start joining it onto here. Now as I say, it doesn't matter where you start joining onto this one. So I'm just going to pick a spot and start joining. So to join, you're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And you have to hold this one the right way, and always make sure that you're working with your motif the right way. You don't want to do it on the wrong side by accident, and that does happen. But anyway, so you chain 3, put them both the right side. Now you're going to lift this one up, and you're coming under it. Okay, you're coming under this, and you're going to do a single crochet, and then you're going to chain 3 again. 1, 2, 3 to finish. So your chain of 6 is divided into 3. Now you're going to come back to this side, and you're going to do a single crochet in there. So you're coming from the one side to the other. Now I've got to go back to this side, so I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to come into the next loop. Now be careful, you were in that loop, that's number 1. You've got to go into the next one, okay, and remember you're lifting and you're going under it. Okay, so I'm coming under this one, and I'm doing a single crochet, and I'm going to finish my chain 6 with 3, 1, 2, 3, and now you've got to come back to this side, and you're going to single crochet in this one, and you do that for 4 of the loops. Okay, so now it's chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then I've got to go into this one over here. So I'm going to go into my next loop. See, I've done 2. This is my next one. Just go under it. What I do is I just lift this motif up, and your yarn is to the right of your hook. Lift this up and come under, and then just single crochet, and then you do the other 3, 1, 2, 3. So it's 3 chain, single crochet, 3 chain. See, now I've done 2, so I'm going to come back in here, single crochet, and we're going to do one more that is joining, that is. So 1, 2, 3, and you can see you've done 1, 2, 3. So I'm coming into number 4, and I'm going to go under it, single crochet and chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then you're going to go into there. Now you should have done 4, and you should see them there, 1, 2, and don't go by these, because that's not how you go by your loops. 1, you can see where I've single crocheted, so you will actually only have 3 of these here. So I suppose you could count those, 3 of these, 1, 2, 3, but you can see by your single crochets, there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So those are 4 loops. You can actually just see which loops have been taken. That's a loop there, that's a loop there, that's a loop, and that's a loop. So 4 of your loops must be taken. Another way to check is, if you had 16 minus 4 is going to give me 12. So I should have 12 of these left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And that's another way to check. So however you want to do it, it's up to you, but that's as thorough as I can be with your joining. Now what you've got to do is you've got to continue around with this one, because I'm not joining anything else. Now if you were joining something else, you would have to count, but we're not. So for this one, as I said, this is your easy round. You're just going to go around with your 6. So you're going to just continue doing your 6 chain and single crochet, and you're going to do that all around till you're back with this one. So do that, and I'll meet you back here. Alright, so you've joined this one, and you've gone all the way around, and all you're going to do for this one is just come in at the bottom of this one and finish this motif off. Now it's fine when you've just got your first 2, you're just joining them here, but from now on you've got to make this long strip. Now for the large size you will be joining 9 motifs together, just in a long straight stripe like this. You'll be joining 9. For the smaller size you'll be joining 8. Now it's very hard for me to show a lot of different sizes and lengths in one video. It's just not possible. So you'll be able to make these a little bit longer if you want yours longer, but you're not going to be able to make it shorter, so because you'll have joined your motifs as we go. But anyway, that's saying that it's not too bad the length that it is, so we'll just work with what we have. Now to join your next motif, what you've got to be aware of, because remember everything is done in 4s, because we've got 16 around here. So when I joined it here, I have to be aware of this join coinciding with this one at the right place. So I've got 4 there, 4 here, 4 here, and 4 here. So for example, now over here, to join another motif, I would have to join with a matching 4 over here. So what you do is you've got your 4 there, so just count the next 4. There's your next one, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's your next one here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So then I should have these 4 here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So these are going to be the same 4 as those. So as long as you have 4 on the side, 4 on this side, and 4 over here, you're good. So with your next motif, this is where you're going to be joining. You're just going to come into this one over here, just so that they're lying exactly above one another. So that's all that you have to know joining this straight stripe over here. Join your straight stripe, and I will show you how to do the rest.